Well, hello, I'm Alex, and today we're gonna do some doodling. Use this to get back to that sketchbook of yours, or simply as a warm-up. In this series, I'll share with you doodling ideas based on observation. We'll do some continuous line drawing for those, but also based on repetition. We'll have fun with pattern play, and based on imagination, which is when we'll doodle with ink blots. My dream for you is that your creative play spills over into all parts of your life. And that's why I'm making these videos, so that you can take a tiny play break with me. This is your creativity timeout, baby. Just jump in and mess around with your art supplies and work alongside me. No worries, I'm keeping this. No fuss fabulous, easy peasy. Go ahead, check it out. Hello, hello! We're back today for a doodling prompt. Today I want you to doodle some flowers. So we're going to be doing continuous line drawings as usual, working in a sketchbook if that's what you want, and flowers is the theme. I'm going to be using these plastic flowers, believe it or not. It's just the easiest thing for me to do here at my desk because whenever I'm doodling, I have to record at the same time. But look, here's a perfect reason why you should get a sketchbook. If you have a sketchbook, you can go to the park and just sit next to some flowers. Of course, if you keep flowers at home, perfect. Let's just get going here. So a plant is fine too. It's just the only plant I have is an aloe plant. It's just really scraggly looking. So I'm going to do these flowers that I put in front of me. Pick your flowers or plants. Now what's different about today is that we're going to use some alcohol. If you want, this is optional. I've showed you how you can use alcohol and permanent pens in previous videos, and today we're just going to get back to that. I'll put a link in the description to the other video. Okay, I want a dropper this time because I want to be a little more precise. And if you do go back and watch the other video, the alcohol will go straight through your paper, not just one page, like all your pages practically. So what I'm doing here is this backside I don't care about. These two pages have a little bit of a white acrylic paint primer on them. They were pages where my marker had gone through, so they were full of dots. So I put some white paint down. It's not very thick though, it's just enough to cover up all the little dots that bled through from the permanent marker. So in this page, I guess I didn't like, so I pasted this in here. So this is like a double page. I'm still gonna put a stack of scrap paper in between this because this is the page I want to mess with I want to mess around with the alcohol. So I'm gonna clip this open. Flowers, are you ready? The other novelty for this video is that I'm gonna use a red pen, a red Sharpie type pen. So I'm just gonna start drawing flowers. So start drawing your flowers. Find a point where you want to start. And then, keep looping around and around since you can't lift your pen. And it doesn't need to be blind unless you like doing it blind, which would just mean you're not looking at your paper. I actually like looking back and forth to what I'm drawing, to what's happening on the paper and where my eye is going. There's a kind of dance happening here. If you're repeating a lot of similar shapes, it does get very it's very easy to get lost where you don't even know where you are anymore. So that's all part of it. That's all part of the fun. Oh, I think I made a good choice with these flowers. There's so many overlapping bits here. So I'm gonna leave that. You know, based on the scale, this is basically life size. I kind of ran out of space, so it would have been smarter to do it a little smaller, but this is the one I want to experiment with anyway. So what happens, I'm getting some, or trying to get some, okay, I got some alcohol on my dropper here. What happens if I drip the alcohol? And also the question is, what happens if it can't go through the paper because of the paint underneath here? So I'm kind of holding it because it's lopsided. I'm just holding it and seeing what happens here. Moving it a little bit. Seeing how long it takes. It is going through the paper. It's trying to find its way through the paper. But because there is a acrylic coating underneath here, it's sitting on top of it a little bit. So we're just gonna let that sit. I'm gonna grab another clip. A smaller clip here. Okay. And I might actually grab an eraser and lift this a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that do its thing, and now we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna use a big fat marker. Remember that if you have a chisel tip, it's fun to move your hand in a way to keep switching the line thickness. So let's start. This time I'm gonna, even though I'm using the bigger marker, I'm gonna try to go a little smaller. I'm gonna try to go a little smaller. There's not much to talk about when you're drawing flowers here. Again, I have a tendency to stylize everything. As soon as I do a few repetitive shapes, it's like I automatically start stylizing. But that's just me, you know, that's... I guess that comes from lots of practice and working on my own style of doodling. Yeah, because my scale is a little bit smaller. It's not that much smaller, is it? But I'm getting more, fitting more flowers here on my paper. One big one here left. So if you're doing this somewhere where there are no flowers or plants, use your phone, take a picture, be prepared. All you need is some paper or your sketchbook, your picture, and a marker, a pen, or a pencil, and you've got yourself a little creativity timeout. So I'm gonna call that done. You know, plants might be more interesting, or fresh flowers, because you've got stems and leaves, and but I just wanted to focus on the actual flowers. Okay, so this seems to be dry. Let's see what happened. It did manage to go through where it could. If I had not had the primer down, it would have completely gone through that. So good. And so, you know, to finish this off, what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd take a thin black pen now and just go in here and redo so I can see where I was drawing. just redo what got blurred in black and see what happens when I add that detail back in, but in a different color. And then up here, where was I? What was that? Huh, I can't even tell what I did. Okay. Not like you'd have any idea if I'm doing this right, huh? But you'll just have to take my word for it that I'm trying to find the place where I would have drawn, where I drew this part, and going back in with black and seeing, okay, it doesn't quite write as well. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? So play with the idea of using two colors, and maybe one of the colors gets wet or gets smudged, and you're doing that on purpose, and then going back in with the other color. Whenever you do something like this, grab a scrap piece of paper and clean your marker, so that if it gets gunk on there, clean it off. That's important. And I do like this, but I'm gonna actually go in and accentuate. I don't know why, it just seems a little bit flat. So what happens, so I'm gonna have to clean this marker too after this. What happens if I accentuate sort of around and around? What happens there? So this is now less about continuous lines and more about just adding some details to finish off my doodle here. And if you notice, there's always sort of a dark center. So there you go. 2 doodles with flowers. Have fun. Try out the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol if you want. Or if this had been a watercolor marker or a watercolor crayon or a watercolor pencil, you could have just splat some water in there and let that color expand a little bit and then go back in. I hope you had fun taking this tiny creative play break with me. Remember, there's always a way to bring more creative play into your life. And as long as you can play, as long as you can try new things, you're never ever stuck, right? I've got lots more ideas for you here on my YouTube channel, so subscribe, stay tuned, and play, play, play. Come back and gift yourself a daily dose of Make Stuff Feel Good energy. Thank you so much for being here. Sparkle on.